Stories inspired by scenes inside Houston's most terrifying haunts.
Killing him was the easy part. I heard steps coming up the stairs, and I could tell it wasn't Mommy. It was him, with his big feet. He was coming to tell me it was time for me to go to sleep, which meant no story and no Mommy again that night. There were no more bedtime stories since he started coming round, and it made me furious, listening to them whisper and giggle downstairs together in the dark. I knew what had to be done, just like the voices told me to. I took the cake knife from my bedstand and held it pointing forward in front of me as I ran to the top of the stairs outside my room. He saw me coming, and in the dim light the fool thought I was going to give him a hug or something, because he threw his arms wide open to catch me, with that stupid big grin on his stupid face. As I ran to him, he wrapped his arms round me, guiding me towards his belly for a hug. The knife slid in soft and easy, like poking your finger into a fresh cherry pie. I felt the steamy warmth gush over my hand and forearm. He looked down straight into my eyes, and his expression changed, more confusion than pain. Then his eyes began to dim, his body went slack, and he fell back toward the stairs. I remember the thrill of watching his body bounce down from stair to stair, landing broken at the bottom. Easy. But a very bad thing happened then, and it's hard to talk about. Mommy was upset at what I had done, and she was coming up the stairs to get me. I didn't do anything to hurt her. I would never do anything to hurt Mommy. It was his fault. It was those shoes he bought her, the ones with the high heels. Mommy would never wear shoes like that before, but she would wear them for him, like those women I used to see at night when we passed their streets in the car. She could barely balance herself walking across the floor in them, and going upstairs was even worse. And now the stairs were wet and slippery, and she was running, so she slipped and fell back. Remember the popping sound of her finger joints twisting and breaking as she grabbed at the banister, desperately trying to break her fall. But she did fall, horribly, her body landing beside his, bent all unnaturally. It's hard to talk about it without crying. Things are better now. I couldn't wait to get that old ugly brute out of the house. I wanted to drag him out and throw him down that old dry well out back, so I would never have to see him again, but he was too heavy to move. I had to take him out, piece by piece. Luckily, Mommy kept a small chainsaw in the shed to help trim the bushes. I moved Mommy's body, too. It was so broken and scary. I was glad when it was out of sight. I left her in the garden we used to enjoy tending together in the sunlight. It was her favorite. Well, most of her is in the garden anyway. I figured there wasn't anything wrong with Mommy's head. It wasn't scary at all. Her hair was still just as long and beautiful. Her face was serene and peaceful. It still smiles at me, just like when she used to read me stories. It makes me so happy to look at and to hold. So I keep her beside me. And when I look at her, I know she loves me once again. Sometimes, when it's time to go to sleep, I will read stories to her in my bed. We're happy again, Mommy and me, and no one will ever take her away from me again.